Welcome to Steel City News. There have been questions and comments occasionally about Mason Rudolph. Did he get the chance that he deserved? Did he even get a chance this season to start? And what would have happened if he did start? Is it possible that Mason Rudolph got stuck a long time ago while in the shadow of Ben Roethlisberger as the backup quarterback in the backup zone? Is there a backup zone? All of this and more right here on Steel City News. So it's an interesting question. Just like what some of us are familiar with, the friend zone, getting stuck in the friend zone, where you're always seen as just a friend in a relationship, but sometimes maybe you're looking for something else. Okay, all of that aside, this is a different situation, but is it possible for a quarterback to get stuck in the backup zone? That once a quarterback is seen as a backup for a long period of time, is it difficult for coaches and an organization to see that quarterback as anything but a backup? And did this happen to quarterback Mason Rudolph on the Pittsburgh Steelers? And Mason Rudolph, he was always battling for that second spot. Okay, well, moving forward beyond that, he was always in the shadow of Ben Roethlisberger. So the only time that he would get an opportunity was when Ben Roethlisberger was out on injury or couldn't play for whatever reason. So he never really got a chance to be seen as a starter. So after a few years of being that backup quarterback, is it possible that it's almost impossible to see him as a starting quarterback? Even though he has a powerful arm and he's extremely accurate and he does have good mobility, is it possible though that he's being overlooked because of that? Because he's been a backup so long, being in the shadow of Ben Roethlisberger, one of the best offensive players ever to set foot in Heinz Field on the Pittsburgh Steelers, definitely one of them. Is that difficult to come out of that shadow? Well, people have asked that question, and Coach Tomlin said some things that indicate that he does have a lot of faith in Mason Rudolph. But is that just as a backup? He mentioned after the game that Mitch Trubisky came in after halftime and pulled out that win. He had said that, Mason Rudolph had good ideas and he was also involved in that. Then at another press conference, he also mentioned that he believes that Mason Rudolph would have done the same thing that Mitch Trubisky did if he had the chance. And he also mentioned, that we may see Mason Rudolph at some point in time. So he wasn't exactly clear with that. He never elaborated on it. But is there something to Mason Rudolph that so many are missing? Is there? Because I know in the offseason he worked extremely hard. It's my understanding from some of the things that he said, it seemed like he was expecting to be QB1 going into this season. Then, of course, Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett came along and it turned into a 3-quarterback competition as opposed to a rookie that would be his second string. So that all changed. And we don't hear much from Mason Rudolph, and he doesn't do interviews because when he is the backup quarterback, he's not doing interviews. Mitch Trubisky does the same thing. Kenny Pickett did the same thing when he was the backup quarterback. You don't really hear much from them, but they are there. And the quarterback room, from my understanding and from what the quarterbacks have said, is a very close-knit group, and they do support each other. But it is a good question, and I had to address it, and, maybe others have similar thoughts that, did Mason Rudolph really get much of a shot this season to prove what he could do? I mean, in the preseason games, he was there in those games playing against mostly second and third string players, and Coach Tomlin even mentioned, when asked about that and his performance, said that he looked like a varsity guy playing against JV players, and he should be, because he's a veteran and he has experience. Did Mason Rudolph really get a fair chance at the starting position? Like I said, this is nothing against Kenny Pickett. I do believe that Kenny Pickett will come along. He's got what it takes to be a great quarterback. He just needs a lot of adjusting. At Pitt, he had a slow snap-to-throw ratio. It was over 3 seconds, and he's improved that. But he needs to think faster on his feet. He needs to get faster. And of course, a lot of other things on the offense need to come together to protect him better in order for him to do more of that. But he has an adjustment curve, and I believe that he will get there. Well, thank you for watching Steel City News. Remember to subscribe if you want up-to-date Pittsburgh Steelers news, information, analysis, and talk. And hit that bell if you want to be one of the first to know when we post. Thanks again.